In the last video, we left off the rig with no seat, no wheelbase on, and no monitors because I ran out of parts. But finally, got the parts came in, got the hardware I need, so we should be able to get cracking. Unfortunately, I still don't have the monitor mounts that I want to use for this yet, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use one of my old monitor mounts and just mount the center screen to get, the center screen is basically what's gonna dictate everything else. So I can get, kind of my base measurements and go from there. So we should be able to get the rig running today. So I'm super stoked. Let's get started. All right, so what I'm gonna start out with first is mounting the seat. And I'm gonna mount it as far back as possible because I'm gonna have all that weight on the front with the monitors. So I wanna get my weight as far back. That way I can have the monitors as centered on to distribute the weight as possible. I'll have to dictate where the pedals are gonna be after that. All right, one thing I just noticed with these Sparco seat brackets is the plastic here is being sandwiched by the side bracket there, and I don't want to damage this, so I think I'm going to put some washers or a spacer in between so we won't do any damage to that. But we got a basic idea of where the seat's going to be, so now I can use this as a reference point. It's not tight yet, just in case I'll have to make any adjustments, but that should give me a good baseline to get the upright started. So let's get started working on that. All right, so got the SimCore mount. I absolutely love this thing. It was super easy to put on. You have these little like chucks that you mount underneath to hold it up. So you're not like trying to brace the whole thing, all the weight, and one side is falling while you're trying to tighten the other side. No, it's super easy. And now I can put on the wheelbase separately and then make my fine adjustments. And I also got it fully extended as far out as it can go because I'm trying to maximize the leg room and get those uprights as far away as possible, just to make getting in and out of the rig easier. But hopefully, I think it should still be plenty solid mounted like that. But now I'm gonna mount the semi-cube, and then once the semi-cube's mounted, from there, I will kind of lock everything in, get everything dialed in, the distance of the wheelbase to me in the seat, and fully mount the seat. And then I can mount the screen and get the center screen dialed in, which will dictate the side screens. And then I can kind of get a guess, start figuring out how I want to make things as rigid as possible and adding supports. So let's get this HRS mount off and put it on the SimCore mount. I just realized that I got to take this quick release off and the SimCore shaft in order to get it out of this HRS mount. Unfortunately, life is suffering.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
All right, a trick I used to tighten this on, at least to get it off, is I just get a screwdriver with an open end and basically get more leverage. But I did, oh, that broke it, okay. Broke it loose, no, it didn't break. I would recommend doing this mounted on a rig, but it's not too bad. like this. Too tight in these. Hercules? Oh wait, it was me. If you're watching this and you want this HRS mount, let me know. I think the low price of $1 billion sounds fair. I mean, you know how many races were won with this bad boy? It's gotta count for something. Bam. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Oh. Now, one thing I would really like to get is the SimCore mount in anodized red to go, you know, with my overall theme. So SimCore, hey, if you're watching, me, you, yeah, let's talk. Alright, that's way too close, so now I can move these uprights a little bit farther forward, which means I get even more leg room. I mean, my knees are nowhere near this. This is awesome. Holy smokes, this is way better than what I had before. And even though you have to climb into the rig, like it's monkey bars. At least it's not too bad because of that. So yeah, I'm super happy about that. All right, got wheelbase dialed in, the pedals dialed in. I did remove the side arm here in order to get the monitor more safely to mount in there. Now I'm gonna mount the just a single monitor, and then we'll get the position of that dialed in. I wanna get that basically right up against, well, not touching, but as close to these as possible for that maximum field of view. And then I think we'll just quick and dirty hook some wires up and give it a test drive. Oh, I'll also mount the shifter right now too. I really want to try rally really badly on this, so I'll do that right now. Alright, I got the seat dialed in, I got the shifter and handbrake dialed in. So now I'm gonna use this mount to mount the monitor instead of actually, I don't think I've shared this. If you're in my Discord, you might know about this, but I had used ASR mounts with adapters to get the adjustability from the ASR mounts, and that worked pretty well, but this is not very stable at all. So good for fixed monitor stands, not good for this application. So I'm going to switch that over and use this one temporarily because this will just be a little bit more rigid. These arms, bolted on arms to extend it, are still not great. So the mounts I have coming will be way better. But for now, just for one screen in the center, I think that will be okay. So, and then I'll figure out the height. Get the center bar height just right. I think we should be ready to fire it up. All right, so from bottom to the top of the monitor is 24 inches and a quarter. That quarter is that extra little lip on the bottom, so the screen itself is actually just 24 inches. So I can see that mount is a little crooked, but that's okay. So to that mount, oops. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed here. Let's see. It's just a little bit over 14. I'm gonna say 14 and a quarter to account for the crookedness. And then I'm gonna take that 1/4 inch out for the bottom lip. So we'll just say it's 14. And then the center of the screen should be 12 inches plus a quarter. So it would be 12 and a quarter. So that means when I go to the rig, I already measured my eye level sitting in the seat, and from the bottom there to my eye level is about 32. Oh, this is rather difficult with one hand. 32 inches. Wow, that's like right there. So 32 is the eye level. That's where the center screen needed to be, which was at 12 and a quarter inches. And then where the mount is 14 and a quarter inches. So for this to work, I would actually need this center bar to go up an extra 2 inches to get the center of the screen where it needs to be. Now, obviously, with the bars I have there, I can't do that. But this is a temporary mounting solution. And the other mounts, I think I'll have more adjustability height-wise, so I think I could leave this bar where it is. So I will just be 2 inches short. So being 2 inches short for now is not a big deal, as it's just a mock-up and just a test run. I just want to be able to test the rig and get an idea of how everything's going to work out and get a rough idea of how much things are going to shake. So for now, I'll just get the monitor on the rig and test it out. If I scratch the screen in the process of doing this, I'm going to cry. Hey, not too shabby. Honestly, some preload top and bottom. This thing, I don't think would move much at all. 2 little on each side. And I still don't like this mount design, so, but even with it, I mean, it's pretty sturdy. It can still rotate a little bit with a decent amount of pressure, but that's pretty good. All right, now let's just get it closer. So I'm gonna test drive on Road Atlanta in the LMP2. So I think that's a good track for motion. A lot gonna be going on, a lot of bumps, a lot of crests, downhill, uphill. So it should be a good test track. In fact, now that I think about it, I don't even know if I got this thing set up right. Remind me later. Whoa. Okay, that was cool. I'm just gonna run this the default. I'm not gonna touch anything. Hopefully I don't regret that. Okay. Oh my gosh, so tall, so high up. I feel like I should be wearing a seatbelt right now. Oh, okay. Alright, monitor is already shaking quite a bit. Oh. Oh, this is a... Oh, this is scary. I'm so scared. I feel nauseous already. Definitely need to get the screen more stable because it's vibrating and it's making it hard to focus on it. And this is probably way more aggressive than I would really want it. dizzy. It's day 2 after I did that first initial drive. Had my brother come over, my other friend, even my dad. They all tried it out and they all absolutely loved it. Those initial default settings where I just fired it up and went, absolutely terrible. Way too jerky, but I found some profiles online and I used those and got a way better experience. And I still want to do some more tuning further, but still got a lot of work to do on this thing. After we did some test driving, my engineer brother, we kind of looked at it together and came up with some ideas to strengthen the rig to support the triple monitors. And I actually also just got off the phone with Joel from All-in-One Gaming. I had ordered some monitor mounts from them because they looked a lot more sturdy. And I sent him an email and we got to talking, and we're gonna also kind of put some ideas together to make this not only solid but look good, because eventually I want everything to be really nicely presentable, because my goal with this thing is to make it the baddest rig possible and just keep taking it to the next level. So over time I'll probably even make more adjustments, even more improvements as well. So I'll just show you this Camaro build as an example. So we see the engine bay here. Let me see if I get more light. Is that a little better? A little bit better. This car is absolutely ridiculous. I know it looks kind of scrappy right now, kind of torn in pieces, but everything on this thing has been completely replaced, improved, and improving the replacements. So there's a lot of very detail-oriented work on this car. For example, if you look at these ARP bolts right here, those actually come in a polished finish, and they actually don't have the head of it milled out like that. I spent, I don't know how many days on a lathe milling every head of every bolt to just shave off a tiny little bit of extra weight. And then we bead blasted every single one and electro-Nicholas coated them as well, or plated, I'm sorry, not coated. The whole front subframe has been completely replaced with a tubular subframe for less weight. The whole engine has been pushed back as close to the firewall as possible, and then it's also running a dry sump system, which means the oil pan underneath the engine goes from, like, let's say 6 inches thick to about 1 inch thick. And that means we can drop the engine as low as possible, but now we have to make completely custom headers because the headers we had would scrape along the floor. So that's a lot of work. There's no stone left unturned. And I kind of want to apply that same philosophy to building this crazy motion rig, and that's why I'm doing the integrated 48-inch OLED monitors. Even though it's challenging to support it, I think it's worth it to go that extra mile. I was also thinking, how cool would it be to get some sort of livery of some type going? I know it's kind of difficult with the aluminum extrusion. I've seen powder coated rigs and that looks awesome, but I'm not sure if I would want to go any color other than black. Realistically, I think I would get tired of anything else. But I do feel like some color somewhere would be cool on this thing. Like I said, if this the red SimCore mount looks really cool, and having like highlights of color would be cool. So something to think about. But I definitely want this thing to look awesome as well. And I mean, it already does. It's wild, crazy looking, but just to get that extra level of polish. You might think all this motion and stuff is the coolest part, but check this out. This is the coolest part about the rig. Cup holder. Yeah. Although, to be fair, you probably don't want to have a cup while this thing is running. Another challenge I will have to start tackling soon, now that I got everything up and running, is the cable management. I'm very, very picky on cable management. I don't like this crazy wires everywhere. And getting this USB hub mounted. Now, mounting a USB hub is a little tricky because, one, you can mount it somewhere very hidden and it's great, everything's very clean, but I like to have access to these power switches to turn off the USB ports on and off to reboot like things with vocar screens when the vocar screens glitch out. So the goal is to have that somewhere very clean looking, but also very functional, which is always a balance that you have to keep in mind when you're doing anything with these things. And even things like this shifter mount situation, well, it works fine. I would like something a little bit more polished. So things like that, I just want everything to be as nice as possible and well thought out, and I don't like the idea of just having everything kind of being an afterthought. So I'm even thinking of maybe building a custom button box that has the Stream Deck integrated, but also maybe taking this e-stop for the motion system apart and integrating that into the button box system, as well as the Simi Cubes emergency stop, integrating that all into one large custom button box. And I'm just thinking of any ways that I can polish this as nice as possible, just to, like I said, the goal is to make the baddest sim rig I possibly can. And whether that takes some time and I do it over time and document it as I go, that's fine by me, because realistically, I ain't running with endless resources. So I'll do what I can and improve things as I go. And that's what makes it fun. I did make a little bit of progress on the garage here. I moved this shelf here, and once I have things a little bit more organized, I think this will look cool as a nice backdrop, kind of a shop feel for like the regular YouTube videos. And I'm thinking I might even want another one and just stack sim racing parts and car parts. Got over here, this is billet aluminum throttle body for the Camaro, and this is half of the intake. Kind of have like cool parts like that displayed, and some sim racing wheels and stuff, and also just useful stuff to be working around, like the toolbox there, and kind of make the place look cool and also really functional. But I need to push this rig as far over there as possible and get some type of like a giant rubber mat or something underneath it, because this thing has just been walking this direction from just shaking about and all the motion that it's creating. So definitely have to come up with a solution for that. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna call it for this video. I'm super happy with how everything's turning out. The rig is so much fun. Like I said, everybody that's tried it had an absolute blast. I'm really looking forward to finishing this thing and getting the triples mounted, because going back to just a single screen has been a real struggle. I did a Long Beach race last night with some friends just to kind of test out the rig as well. And it was in the LMP3 car, which doesn't have great visibility, and being in the single screen just made it 10 times worse. And getting really close to walls, I'd probably smack the wall 100 times. So definitely missed that setup. So when this thing is all said and done, it's gonna be wicked. I also want to thank the guys that reached out to me, that gave me some ideas to strengthen up the rig as well. I always appreciate some feedback, so if you have any ideas or see something that you think you might be able to help with, let me know and I'll definitely appreciate that. But you know the drill with YouTube. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. And until next time, peace.